Today's video I'm going to be doing the star stitch with you. It is very easy to do. It's just on a 2-row repeat. I've alternated my colours, so I've got the gradient colour in the pink, the ombre yarn, and then I've gone up with the cream in between. And I don't cut my yarns at the end, I carry them up at the end of the 2 rows, and I'll be showing you how we do that. So let's get started. We've got a 4mm hook, we've got our yarn, so let's start on the first row. Now row 1, I'm going to start my chain. I need a slip knot at the beginning, and my blankets measure 30 by 30 generally, because I donate all the blankets that I make to a local baby charity, and that's what they prefer, 30 by 30 for those. So I've worked out on this one that I'm going to have to chain 140. So as long as you chain a multiple of 2, so that's any even number, you won't have an issue. So I'm going to let you carry on. Make the chain as big as you want your blanket to be. Now I know that 140 chains is 30 inches, but if you want a bigger blanket, keep going until you've got the right measurement for your chain, and then I'll meet you back there. I have got my 140 chains here. Now the next row we're going to do is this bottom bit here. Now we need to pick up the back loops here on this foundation chain. So we're going to go in and we're going to draw up a loop. Now we've got 2. We need to keep going until we've got 6 for this first bit. Into the next one, that's 3. The next one, go through the top bit, there we go, 4, 5 and 6. So we've got 6 loops on our chain. Now we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through all of them. That is going to make the beginning of our star, like so. And then we're going to chain 1, and this is where the pattern now repeats all the way along. We're going to label these differently. So this hole that you've just made here by doing that chain 1, that's called the eye. We're going to go through the eye and draw up a loop. Now this piece coming down here I call the leg of the star. We're going to pop one through here. When you start getting onto your next couple of rows, it'll be so quick and easy. Pull up that one. Now we're going to go into the base of it, which is here. So you've already got 4, and then along your chain you always pick up 2. That's 1 and 2. So now we've got 6 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull through all 6. This is going to be our second star, so we're going to chain 1, go back through this one that we've just created, that's the eye, pick up through the leg, which is this first piece that you come across, and then this next one here will be the base. So we yarn up, we're going to go through the base of it, so we've got our 4, and then you know you've got 2 on your chain to do, like so. So we've got 6. Yarn over, bring it through all of them, and now we're going to create the next one. So we chain 1, go back through the star, through the hole there. So that's called the eye. I call this next one down the leg, and then we've got the base, and then 2 along the chain. Yarn over, pull through all of them. I'll do a few more with you. So we chain 1, through the eye, pull up a loop, through the leg, which is this first one here, pull up a loop, through where it meets at the base, pull up a loop, and then 2 along the chain that you've got. 6 on your hook, yarn over, pull through all of them, chain 1, through the eye, pull up a loop, through the leg, through the base, and that leaves you 2 along the chain. Yarn over, pull through all 6 and chain 1. Now I think you get the idea. If you want to carry on, I will come back to you near the end to show you how we do the next row and how we finish off this row. I'm coming up to the last one of this row now, so we're going to go back through the eye, through the leg, through the base, and then the next two. One. Get my yarn in that one, come open. It's a bit tight than my first one. There we go, got it. 6 on our hook. Going to yarn over, pull through all 6, but we're not going to chain 1 on this one. We're going to go straight into the same hole, our last stitch, with a half double crochet. So yarn over, pull up your loop, and then pull through all 3. That's how you end your row. Now we're going to start working our way down the other side now, because we need to finish off the tops of the stars. So we're going to chain 2, turn our work, and we're going to yarn over, and into every eye of your star we're going to pop 2 half double crochets. So that's finished that one. Yarn over, go into the next hole, your eye of your star, and do 2 half double crochets. There's your next one. So for every eye you'll pop in 2 half double crochets all the way till the end. And this is such a quick row, this one. This is what we're looking like now. If you turn it over, they're more prominent on this side. So I'll let you carry on. I'll meet you at the other end to show you how I join my colour. I've come to the end of the first row and we've got this last stitch here to do. So we're going to pop 2 half double crochets in there as normal. I've got 1 and 2, and then we're going to pop a half double crochet in this first stitch here. So I'll go through both of those loops. So that would have been the first chain that we made. You're going to yarn up, but you're not going to finish that. You're going to add, if you are changing colour, this is where you add your colour. If not, you can carry on in one colour. It looks so effective either way. And we're going to draw up, that's finishing that stitch off there. Now we need to chain 3 and work our way back down. So chaining 3 gives us the 2 stitches that we need for the first one before we make the eye. So ignore this first stitch, leave your work the way it's facing you at the moment. It's a lot easier to find. Pop your hook straight through the second one, draw up a loop, go down to this third one, draw up a loop. Then we're going to turn our work so it's facing you now. We know that this is going to be the base of our star, and then we're going to go on for another 2. Yarn over, pull through all 6, chain 1, and then the rest is plain sailing. We go straight through the eye, we go through the leg, which is this downward one there, we go through the base, and then the following 2. Yarn over and pull through. Do a couple more with you. Chain 1, through the eye, through the leg, through the base, and then the next 2. All through 6, chain 1. So through the eye, through the leg, through the base, and then 2 more along the chain. Yarn over and pull through all 6 and chain 1. So if you carry on with that, to the end, then I'll show you how we turn it around and do our second row. Back down the other end, so we're going to go through the eye, through the leg. I didn't quite go through all that leg, let's do that one again. That's better. Through the base, through the next two, and on this one we're not going to chain one, we're going to bring it all the way through, then yarn over. We're going to go straight back into this last one that we've done here and do a half double crochet. That brings up the sides. Now we're going to chain two, turn your work, and we're going to work through the eyes on all of them. So yarn over the first one here, we're going to pop 2 half double crochets. We're going to do the same for every eye along our piece of work. So when you're beginning off your star, you chain 3, and when you're halfway through, so you're at the end of your first row and you're starting your second row, to complete the star you only chain 2. So I'm going to let you carry on going through the eyes of your stars all the way along, and I'll meet you up the other end to show you how we change back to the cream. I'm coming up to the end of this row, so we've got this eye left to do, so we're going to pop 2 half double crochets, and then we're going to pop a half double crochet in the top of this last one here. Get both my loops on. There we go. Pull it through, but don't finish your stitch because you need to bring this white one back up, the creamy colour one. And we're going to finish it with that one. So each time you get to this end, you are swapping it with a different colour, unless obviously you're making it all in one piece. So because we have now finished that second row of the repeat, we're starting on the next one. So it's chain 3 on the first one, and you do your chain 2 on the second one. So in this chain again, we ignore the first one, we go in the second one. Don't turn your work just yet because it's easier to do it this way. Pull up a loop, go into the next one, pull up a loop. Now turn your work. We're going to go into this first one. That will be classed as the base as you go further along of your star, and then we have the next 2 to bring up so that you have 6 on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 3. Chain 1. Through the eye, through the leg, through the base, and then the next 2. 1, 2. Pull it through. Let's do one more. Chain 1, through the eye, through the leg, through the base, and then the next 2. Put it through all 6, and that's what we're looking like at the moment. So if you want to carry on, you need to keep going until you get to the length that you want for your blanket, not what I'm doing, because everyone has a different preference. And obviously whenever you get to this end, you're just going to finish your stitch with this one, and you're going to be left with these little bits that hang. That will all be incorporated in the border, so you're not going to see that. And that just saves you having to keep cutting your yarn and sewing in your ends. So I'm going to let you carry on until you've done as many rows as you want for the length of your blanket, and then I'll come back to you. So I have worked out 45 of our 2-row repeats all the way up. So mine measures 30 by 30 at the moment. So I'm going to start my border, but I must say, using the variegated yarn, it does make it look very appealing. So I'm going to cut this yarn because we don't need this one anymore, and then as I get around there I'm going to sew the end in, just so we don't get tangled up. And then what I'm proposing to do is we're going to go around the outside and do a single crochet, so that's going to give us a foundation to work our border on. I'm not going to do the top here purely because it's already got them in it, because that was the last row of stitches you've done, so we know that we can go into every stitch at the top. So for 3 sides, which means we need to turn our work around, and work down this side. So I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to pop a single crochet. So for every repeat, so this is your 2-row repeat, I'm going to aim to put 3 single crochets in there. So I'm going to go back into the same stitch we've done for our first one. Going to aim for this section here, so you could just spread them out and make sure that you get 3 in there and 1 here. So this is purely to be able to anchor your border onto. So if you pull it apart, you can roughly work out where you want to go. So I'm going to go 1, 2 and 3. 1 straight through the middle, 2 and 1 up this end. If I can get it through, there we go, 3. Again, we've got our 2-row repeat here, so I'm going to pop 1 in this first section, aim 1 in the middle and 1 at the bottom. So this is what we're looking like. So if you want to carry on going around, and then when you get to the corner, I'll join you then. Up to the first corner. Now this one I'm actually going to weave in so we can't see it. So our last repeat block of 2, I've put 1 in the top, going to pop 1 in the middle. Just want to make sure that I go through 2 of these, and then 1 in near the bottom. Now I'm not going to add any for the corner because when I put the border on, it might go round a corner, so I'm just going to keep them quite raw and just put a stitch with a stitch. So as we go round, we're going to pop 1 in here, and then again along the bottom is your chain that you did originally, so you're going to pop 1 in each of those chains. Give you something more to anchor on. So if you want to carry on going round, when you get to the corner, I wouldn't add any extra stitches, I would just keep it that you go around the corner, and I'll meet you back at the top. Remember, you're not doing the last row, so you're going to stop at the end of your, we're on the second one now, at the end of your third one, we're going to stop here, and that's where I'll meet you. So I finished going all the way around with my single crochets. Now we're going to create a border. Now it's your choice whatever border you want to put on it, but I'm just going to do this basic one here, and I prefer to have the work the good side facing me. So although I've just finished up this side, I'm going to turn my work and I'm going to start working back down this side here. So what I want to do is I'm going to miss the first stitch and I'm going to put 5 double crochets into this next one here. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now we're going to miss the next stitch, and in the following stitch we're just going to pop a slip stitch to hold it down like that. Yarn over, we're going to do double crochet, so we're going to miss a stitch and go in the following stitch with our 5 double crochets. Three, 4 and 5. We're going to anchor it down, so we're going to miss the next stitch and we're going to go in the following stitch with our slip stitch. This is what we're looking like so far. Again, we miss a stitch, go in the next one, 5 double crochets. This is number 4 and number 5. Miss a stitch, go in the next one with your slip stitch to anchor it down, and again you miss a stitch and go in the next one with your 5 double crochets. So I think you get the idea. If you want to carry on going around, I will meet you at the first corner because every corner will be different. It depends on where your stitches lay as to where it goes around the corner. And as you can see on this one, we've got it missing partly, and then another corner it could be in the middle. So I'll meet you there and we'll go around that corner together. Come up to my first corner. I've done my slip stitch, so I'm going to miss that one and go in this one. So it doesn't really matter what stitch you land on your corner, you're still just going to continue round. This is 2, 3, 4 and 5. Skip one, slip stitch into this one. And then skip a stitch and start your next stitch. So I will let you carry on. I'm going to meet you just before we finish the whole border. So right up to this point here, and then we'll work out whether we've got enough stitches left to finish a fan or what we do if we don't. I'm just coming up to my last stitch. I've done my slip stitch in this one, and I'm going to be popping my 5 double crochets in this one. Then if I skip one, I can slip stitch into this one. Now if you find you've got an extra stitch, what I would recommend you do is, instead of going into this one with your slip stitch, just move it over one. That way it won't look out of place. So I'm going to be popping my 5 double crochets into this one. Number 3, 4 and 5. Skip one and we're going into this one. We're just going to slip stitch into there, and then I'm just going to chain one to finish off, and then I can sew that end in. I'm going to do it on the back of my work, and I'm going to feed it down through some of these. And into that one. And then you just need to go around and sew your other ends in. As you can see, it works very effective. You don't have to put that border on. You can choose whatever border you want. So got one pink, one blue. So if you like the video, please give it a like, maybe subscribe, and I'll pop another one up.